This is the School Success Podcast, a podcast for school leaders to learn from other school leaders what's working and what's not, and to get inspiration and encouragement, as well as strategies to grow school enrollment, connect with families, retain teachers, recruit teachers, and everything in between. You guys are heroes, and I cannot thank you enough for pouring into this next generation that's coming behind us. My goal is you will take at least one thing away from every episode that you can take back to your school to make it better than it is right now. Please enjoy the School Success Podcast. Hey, School Success Makers. Welcome to another edition of the School Success Podcast. I'm your host, Mitchell Slater. And hey, we are continuing in this mini marketing series in week 4. And if you didn't know that, and you've missed the 3 previous ones, please go back and listen to those. They're all around that 10-minute or so mark. So please go back, watch those real quick. I always listen to podcasts on 1.5 speed to speed it up a little bit. So do that. You get through them even faster than 10 minutes. Okay. But week 1 was talking about your website, getting it ready to rock and roll for enrollment season. The second one was adding a lead generator to your website so you can get leads automatically inside your ecosystem. And the third one was creating that follow-up sequence that will get sent to people automatically, so you don't have to manually send out requests, keep people in front of you, keep your name in front of the prospective families. And then for today, we're going to talk about giving people a way to digitally book school tours. Now, this is extremely valuable and something I see continually not done by schools that we talk to and we work with. And we want to make sure that you guys are not missing out on prospective families because of just not having enough tech that is wanting to engage, make it easy for them. We want to make sure there's enough tech for them to be able to engage with your school. And so one of the ways we do that is we're in this enrollment season right now. People are inquiring, they're looking at your website. Time is of the essence. So let's make sure we don't miss out on that. And it's having a way for people to digitally book a school tour. Now, a lot of times the schools we've talked to, there are schools that have this, but there is a lot that do not have this. And we want to make sure you have this. And all this would be is, if somebody goes to your website and they're interested, you don't want to have them make a call to schedule a tour. Maybe you have that option to do that. That's fine. Give them the option to schedule a tour through the phone. I want you to give them another option, and that is to also be able to book it digitally through a calendar link. Now, there are some great calendar softwares that are out there. You've probably heard of Calendly. There's Calendar Hero, I think, is another one. There's a whole bunch. If you look up like digital calendar softwares, they're out there. The price I usually see is around $15 a month per user. So if you had, 10 teachers that were using it, you're going to be about $150 a month if you were to give every teacher one, because this obviously you got school tours, but then if each teacher wanted to use one for like parent-teacher conferences or anything like that, then each would have their own. So just putting that out there as an option for you guys. But the way you want to do this, so you want to have a way for them to do this digitally. And here's why. Most schools right now, your target market is millennials. I am a millennial. I am 31 years old, and I like technology. Now, I feel like I have a pretty good balance between using and not using technology, but I like when companies make things easy for me by using technology. I get really frustrated when I have to call for something. I'm like, why can't I just do this through their website automatically? Or why can't I do this in 10 seconds digitally, but I have to do it 10 minutes now because I have to call or do something? Like, it gets frustrating. So you don't want to have that happen with somebody who's interested in your school, especially with a school that is typically like an 8 to 4 hour, availability for answering phone calls. Let's say they get back from work at 5, 6 o'clock and they're looking at your school online and they want to schedule a school tour. Oh, I called the school. They didn't answer the phone. I have to call back tomorrow now, but I'm going to be at work. I want to schedule a tour. I want to ask them a few questions. Like, that can be really frustrating. And I'm sure you guys have all missed out on potential enrollment because you didn't have the ability for somebody to digitally book a tour or to digitally do anything. They made it manual, and they can't always do that. Or they go, yeah, you know what, I'll do it later. And then they never do it. As we all know, we are all guilty of that. So, Hey, school success makers, just a really quick break from the episode to highlight our amazing sponsors over at America's Christian Credit Union. They are celebrating 65 years of service this year, and they provide essential school banking services and a tuition financing program for schools looking to reduce their risk and administrative burden. And you guys can find out all about them on their website, americaschristiancu.com/schools. That's americaschristiancu.com/schools. They are amazing over there, and I always like to say, if you're a school that collects tuition and you have a hard time collecting all of tuition at the end of the year, maybe it comes around May, June, you're like, man, we only got collected 95 or 98% of what tuition was owed to our school. One of the things you can do is have your parents get a tuition financing loan through the credit union, and then they pay the credit union directly, and you get your funds up front at the beginning of the year as the school. So you don't have to chase people throughout the year, and you can focus on what you do best, and that is loving and educating your students. And it doesn't cost your school anything to do it. So check them out online, americaschristiancu.com/schools. All right, back to the show. Make it as easy as possible for them to be able to opt in and do something like this. We use the software that we made called 𝑧enrollment. It's enrollment with a Z at the beginning, 𝑧enrollment.com. You can schedule a free demo if you guys want to check it out and see it, but we give schools, that's what we use to kind of power all the things we'll do for schools. So adding like a lead generator, we use it for doing all the automations we do for schools. And then we also do it for the calendar bookings for teachers to do parent-teacher conferences, school tour bookings. Like it powers all of that. And it's super, super cool. And I love it. And it's helped schools grow and fill seats. So I get excited about it. So if you want to see it, have a school tour, you can or see the demo of it, you can sign up for a demo through 𝑧enrollment.com or reach out to us, schoolsuccessmakers.com, and reach out to us. We'll make sure hop on a call. And most of those calls will probably be with me. So I'd love to meet you and hear about your school. But you want to make it easy, guys. Keep it simple. Keep it digital for them so they can do it automatically. And here's the other really cool thing. Most of the softwares you end up using, whether you use 𝑧enrollment, Calendly, or whatever it is, most of them have all the automations built in for follow-up, for saying like making sure they don't have a no-show. So we saw a lot of these schools, they were doing all this manually, but then people wouldn't show up because they forgot. And so what we want to do is, hey, if you use a Calendly, enrollment, or anything, typically, like I'll give you the firsthand experience, what we do for our clients, we have pre-built automations in there to make sure that they are alerted 24 hours before their scheduled tour and 1 hour before their scheduled tour, so that the no-show rate pretty much goes out the window. I mean, like they show up, and if they don't, they're rescheduling because they're like, oh, I can't make it in an hour. I need to reschedule with the school. Like, who has that? I mean, think about the amount of manpower that's going to have to take if you're a school and people are calling, trying to reschedule, you're trying to find a time on the calendar. Like, why do something manually when you can have it done digitally? It'll save you tons of time, which all that time is money, and it adds up really, really quick. And with that money could all go to software to help do it. So you can focus on other things that you actually truly have to do on your own because a person needs to do it. But keep it simple. The millennial parents that you guys are probably targeting, which a millennial right now is 28, I think, to like 44, something like that. It's in that range. Like that's most likely your target market of people who are enrolling, especially if you're trying to target kindergartners. I have a 4-year-old. So like you're targeting these young families who know tech and know how to use it. And that's what they're looking forward to interacting with on websites and when they're interacting with a school. Make it simple, guys. Keep it simple, especially if we're talking about, I always use the number 10,000 for tuition because I feel like that's the average when I'm talking to these schools of what they charge per year. We're talking about let's even make it more fun. $10,000 per year a student's worth. But let's say they stay an average of 4 years, say 4 or 5 years. So, elementary or middle school or something. So for easy math, 5 years. That's $50,000 that student's worth to your school to enroll. And their family was interested, but there wasn't a way to digitally book. But the competitor next on Google had the way to digitally book, and you just missed out on $50,000 because you wanted to answer the phone, but you weren't available at 7 o'clock to answer the phone. but the other place had a digital way to book a tour. They came in, wowed them, boom, they enrolled. Hey, school success makers, just a really quick break to highlight one of our amazing sponsors, and that is ClassReach. Now, ClassReach supports schools of all sizes from application to graduation. Take charge of your school with ease, power, and mobility using ClassReach, the school management software administrators and teachers love using. You can get your free demo at classreach.com. That's classreach.com. They are amazing people, and they provide this amazing SIS software for you to keep track of your students' grades, communicating with families that are enrolled, and a whole bunch more. So again, check it all out on their website, classreach.com. They are awesome. All right, now back to the show. Like, the decision for somebody to choose another school could be a $50,000 mistake because you didn't have technology on your website. And I want to make sure you guys are prepared and you're ready. So if you don't yet have a way for people to schedule tours digitally, add it. Add it so you are ready for this enrollment season for people to digitally book with you. Okay. So kind of recapping on the 4 weeks so far. First week is website. Second week was on adding a lead generator of some sort. The third week, automation, so people have your name in front of them all the time. Fourth one is having a tour booking way for people to digitally book a school tour and have reminders about it. You can add that into the automations that get sent to somebody via email. You can also just have that button on your website. Schedule a tour now. They go in there. It could be 11 o'clock at night, schedule a tour. We actually had that with one of our clients. They're outside Chicago. The head of school came in on a Thursday morning, and she was looking at her schedule, and she's like, oh, what is this? She had 2 tours that booked at like 10 or 11 o'clock at night the night before. But of course, she was sleeping. So it was literally while she was sleeping, tours were getting booked for the next day to go see the school. Like, that's awesome. Like, that just gets me excited. It gets me pumped for these people, for these schools to be able to have a way for people to join their school and interact. Keep it easy, make it fun, grow your school, and let's have some fun. Oh, that was good. That was good. Okay. So 3 things, guys, as we wrap up this episode. 3 free things I've been highlighting. I want to make sure you guys are a part of. Podcast. It is free every weekend or every Monday week. So every week we're dropping new episodes. Make sure you're watching and listening to those. And if you like it, share it with some of your other school leaders that need some of this content in their life. And if you love the content, please give us a 5-star review. We would greatly, greatly appreciate that. It would mean a lot to me. And if you're not yet around community, I know community is so incredibly important. And if you need some outside of just your school peeps, then you need to join our private Facebook community called School Success Makers. It's completely free. So just go in there and join it. I'm personally in there. I'd love to see you in there as well. And lastly, the third also free one is our school success report. You can sign up for that on our website, schoolsuccessmakers.com. In the top right-hand corner, you can click the button. Make sure you're getting that email to you weekly with we're highlighting teachers, podcast episode, articles that my team and I have written. Want to make sure you guys are staying as informed and up to date with new things going on as possible. And we're trying our best to make sure you guys are able to do that. So go join and get a part of that community with the School Success Report. And again, any questions, comments, concerns, or ideas, guys, please reach out to us and let us know. We appreciate you. We love you guys. Thank you for pouring into these students. Let's make this enrollment season the best one that you've ever had. We will be back here next week with, I'm thinking, the last episode of the mini series that we're doing. I'm really excited for that one. So make sure you tune in because it's going to be a really fun one. There may be some stuff you haven't thought of, but I think it will be the last one of the series of 5. So make sure you tune in next week for the next episode of the School Success Podcast. We'll see you then.